The learning process is a way of overcoming difficulty using technology or limited interaction with the teacher. Conversely, from the teacher point of view, the focus of distance learning is how the teacher delivers learning material appropriately even though they are not physically in the same place. Blinger and Jordan, 2000. Augmented reality, or AR, can help visualize abstract concepts from the recognition and understanding of an object. Azuma, 2011. AR applications are designed to provide users with more detailed information than a real object. Availability and technology development, the application of AR is an alternative. This research aims to analyze the need of AR media and how to design and develop an AR media program that is integrated with the UT module to help students visualize material or abstract concepts for introduction and understanding. The method used to solve the research problem in the Multimedia Development Life Cycle, or MDLC, is concept, design, material collecting, assembly, testing, and distribution. Discussion and result. Concept. Based on the result of the need analysis, there are 5 media developed in augmented reality media. If enriched with AR media, the 5M material will facilitate and provide more understanding of material for students. 5 material or discussion topics are raised to be developed into augmented reality learning media. A. Frog anatomy, brain, lungs, urogenital system, and digestive. B. Digestive system, rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. C. Bird respiratory system, inspiration and expiration while playing, inspiration and expiration online. D. Insect accretion system, the process of insect accretion, Malpighi vessel, middle stomach, back stomach, intestine and rectum, and anus. E. Human endocrine system, hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid gland, suprarenal, pancreas, testicle, and ovaries. The design and creation of script or storyboard for each AR are carried out: frog anatomy, cow digestion, bird respiratory, insect integument system, and human endocrine system. Here is the AR script of frog anatomy. At this stage, the design of a 3D model is carried out from the material that has been developed. 3D AR material development is also adapted onto the AR script. Making AR marker is also done at this stage. Assembly. The assembly stage involves making all multimedia objects or materials, making application based on storyboard, flowchart, and navigation. Structure that origin at the design stage. At this stage, the storyboard is combined with the material that have been collected. The material are assembled and combined using several applications: Unity 3D, ECR, and Adobe Photoshop. Testing. After the application is made, it is time to test the ability and performance of the application, whether it is expected. Here again, recompile whether all media elements, link, button, animation, and other features appear based on the storyboard can function correctly. There are also how many entries that need to be improved as a whole program. Like the cover display on the program disappear before the user click the Enter Program button. Create a common creative display, making usage view 3D IR size do not be too big, the pop-up display does not work on some mobile device, the font selection on the pop-up menu is less legible. Distribution. The application will be stored in a storage medium. This stage can also be called the evaluation stage for developing finishing product to make them better. The result of this evaluation can be used as input for the concept stage of the following product. This stage is carried out before the evaluation stage. From the questionnaire filled out by respondent during the trial, several inputs relate to the appearance and ease to access of obtained. Installation for the Android operating system is okay. Not yet no for other operating program like Windows or iOS. The download process is not a problem as long as the internet signal is stable. But because the application is quite large, 68 megabytes, it will take up many quotas. Easy to operate, but some interactions are confusing. This application is easy and fast to install. AR object display attractive and intuitive to see. The depiction of object is quite straightforward but need to be clarified is small part. Description and AR object are easy to see and are appropriate, but additional description of each organ or organ system can be still added. Conclusion. From the result of the research that has been done, augmented reality based on animal physiology learning media has been successfully developed. Android user can use the application by installing the application file that has been created. This file is executed by scanning the markers that have been created. From the test result, it can be concluded that this application can run well. There are several error problems in displaying applications that occur on two devices that are tried, and some improvements are needed in terms of application and the addition of some material. This is a marker in the basic material books or BMP. This is the application. So this is the end. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. And now we move into the question and answering sessions. I would like to ask participants to ask the questions on the presentation. Okay, can I ask? Yes, there is one from Yasir Riyadi. Is it available in iOS or only in Android? Please.
Thank you. From now, this application only in Android. Maybe next time we can try to iOS and Windows. But for now, only for Android. Thank you.
Okay.
And also because based on research, UT students mostly use Android. So for the first time, we just only develop on Android.
Okay, okay. There is another, okay, the comment. I see, thank you, and hope it can be for all the users, right? Okay, thank you for that question. Any other questions? Okay, just to ask, how is the response of the users, if that has been now practicing of this system? Do you have any experience on that?
Uh,
For the users, we developed this in last year because the pandemic. We just uji coba apa, Bahan? We just sample on uh, a small circle, like student in near UT. The reaction of student is no is smooth gitu, and then it's very useful and interesting. They are very enthusiastic if it is soon to be implemented in on our module.
Right.
the evaluation stage, which planned to be carried out with all students of biology, was due to the pandemic situation and various considerations were not carried out. The trial was conducted by biology lecturer using a variety of smartphone and small student, not all of biology student,
Right.
but they are the and this application is easy to install. Our object displays interactive, intuitive to see. They are very
Interest.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very
Thank
interesting.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, wish you in future success in this work. Okay. Now we will move to the next presentation. The next presentation is on promoting learner-centeredness in creative art education, use of flipped classroom approach and technologies integrated blended learning by Kamani Samarasinghe and Roshan Netsinghe. Over to you.
Our presentation is about promoting learner-centeredness in creative arts education, the use of flipped classroom approach and technology-integrated blended learning. Let's begin. University of Visual and Performing Art offer bachelor degree in Visual and Performing Art. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the university has started teaching all courses online using Zoom and LMS. Due to various internet-related delays and the strength of the internet connection, faculty discovered that conducting online practice sessions for music, vocal, and instrumental performing activities through Zoom technology is extremely difficult. So faculty use the flipped classroom approach to reduce these delays by tuning learning material into video recorded material and put those material LMS before starting the Zoom online sessions. While the idea of a flipped classroom is not a new in education, but it is a novel approach for faculty of music students and staff at the UVPA. So as explained by the flipped classroom approach, it provides a learner-centered experience to individual pedagogical content knowledge. There is DPAC, which was introduced by Koala, Mr. and Kane in 2013. The technology integration framework used design and deliver audio-video recorded content and learner-centered pedagogical approach were employed with the flipped classroom approach as the main teaching method in this study. The goal of this research is to investigate the perception and learning experience of students in the Faculty of Music after applying online delivery and improve the effectiveness of the current practice addressing any related issue. Let's move to the methodology. The participants in this study were Bachelor of Performing Art Music students, which belongs to the 2018-2019 academic year, 3rd and 4th levels. The regarding data were collected using an online questionnaire which consists of 14 questions, and it was posted in LMS. So random sampling was used as a sampling method. So data were analyzed using simple descriptive statistics, and qualitative comments were coded to generate themes. Now let's move to the results and participant response was 32%. Uh, all participant responses, all questions that was compulsory to answer. So when asked about the device used for participating in an online session, 90.5 stated that they use smartphone. 26.3% stated that they use laptops. 2.9% indicated that they use tablet device, and none of the participants were using desktop computers. So most participants 86.9% were using mobile data connection to join Zoom and LMS. So participants were asked about the experience of internet delay while connecting Zoom online classes. 35% of the participants rated yes, 56.2 rated sometimes, and 8.8 rated no. Participants were asked if they use Zoom recorded lecture video materials accessible through LMS. 54% rated yes, but 46 rated no. So participants were asked about the use and the satisfaction of pre-prepared video and audio instruction learning material on LMS. 85.2% indicated that they satisfied, but 14.8 rated not satisfied. So when participants were asked whether they prefer to continually use prepared learning material posted in LMS in future when the face-to-face teaching resumes, the majority of the participants, that is 97.1 rated yes, but a few, 2.9 participants rated no. So when asked about the satisfaction of the new learning experience, 73% rated yes, but 27% rated no. So participants was about the experience problem while connecting to online sessions. The biggest issue experienced by the participant was the connection signal problem. 73.7 have indicated that they have faced difficulties. So this reference to signal indicate that they use wireless devices such as Wi-Fi. So connecting to the internet was the next considerable issue. 44.5 indicate that experience internet connection problem. So it is also important to point out that students have also experienced electricity disruptions and power failures. 10.9% rated they had a power failure while connecting these classes. 1.5 linear scale was used to measure overall satisfaction about the pre-prepared learning audio and video materials. One stayed very dissatisfied, and 5 stayed very satisfied. 2.9 participants were extremely dissatisfied. The majority of the participants, 85%, were satisfied with having access to pre-prepared audio and video learning materials. Let's move to the participant response rate. Participant response 137 were coded to identify what, if any, of three major themes appeared among participants' feedback. Educational value, personal value, and infrastructure were identified in the qualitative data as the major themes. The final codes and categories used for the defining themes in shown in the table 1 screen. The educational value themes was discussed under two categories, course value and instructional value. Under the course value categories, topics such as developing their knowledge, recommended for future initiatives, flexibility, convenience were discussed by the students as benefited, and difficulties of doing practical was the negative aspect surfaced. The personal value theme was created using attractiveness category and influence category. The infrastructure team was created from the technical category and the device category. Under this team, participants were discussed various problems they faced by during online sessions. So it is important to highlight that these issues require attention from the stakeholders for essential improvement. This slide shows themes frequencies. So every respondent spoke about one or more themes. The majority of the respondents, 72%, discussed the technical related aspects of online teaching and learning. Especially the many respondents discussed the issues related to internet connection while doing online classes. Uh, the research showed that attitudes of responses toward the LMS and flip material in the teaching were positive, and the students have gained new learning experience from this engagement. The educational value of the experience were discussed. 64% of the participants and 66 have discussed personal values. In a summary, a range of benefits of online teaching and learning have been identified from this data analysis at the UVPA and considered to effectively deliver program in a university. So, let's conclusion. This study examined how undergraduate at music faculty of music adopt and participate in sudden change in educational environment in favor of distance learning. Learning material prepared for flip delivery, especially for traditional Sri Lankan music subject, are created by authentic expert at UVPA. And if these materials are preserved properly, the university could use them in future for the next generation. Through this flip and blended methods, UVPA can contribute to preserving intangible cultural heritage in Sri Lanka also. With that, so I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good presentation, and we got a very good finding on this research. And now we start the question and answering session. That is, the participants can ask the questions now. I'm wondering, this LMS was familiar to the visual arts students before the pandemic, or?
No, sir. Actually, LMS that has been used by the Center for Open and Distance Learning students only. But
Okay.
the faculty, undergraduate courses like the Faculty of Music, Faculty of Dance and Drama, Faculty of Visual Art, they didn't use LMS for normal day-to-day classes, because most of the time we use face-to-face instruction for delivering music subjects.
Right.
This is a new experience for teachers as well as students.
Right. So at present you are delivering the courses through this LMS.
Yes.
Right.
But we are experienced. So we normally we have 30% theoretical subject and 70% practical subject. So it's very difficult to deliver practical subject through Zoom, because we are experiencing various delays.
Yes.
Because, like, when we are doing vocal session,
Yes.
we need some instrumental device also to accompany. So it's very difficult to sing a song with the instrument. So we are experiencing those delays. So that's why we prepared pre-recorded learning material first, using our studios. Actually, very first, teachers, they use their smartphones and laptops for creating these pre-recorded video materials. Then we experienced that the quality of material not fully satisfied. So after that, we use our studios to record these learning material. So we maintain 1 to 3 minute theoretical exams. We ask them to record their instrument playing, and we ask them to upload the clips into LMS.
Right.
Then students
Yes.
complain that because most of the students they have smartphone. So using smartphone and very slow connection, it's very difficult to upload video clips into our LMS. Then we give up that one because most of the students they complain it's very difficult to upload their video clips into LMS.
Right.
Dr. Udayakumar,
Yes. Yes, sir.
Spasiba вам большое за can't remember the word anyway, for the opportunity. Yeah, Dr. Udugama told me about this opportunity, and with Ms. Kamani, we participated in this, and
Yes.
I studied in Donetsk with him.
Okay. Right. Nice
Yeah.
to see you.
Nice to
Okay.
see you. Thank you.
Okay.
So regarding very quickly the follow-up of this research,
Yes.
the Faculty of Dance and Drama, they have done another survey to collect data from all the students regarding their preferences for assessment.
Okay.
And we are currently analyzing the data. And one of the biggest issues that they have found is the internet problems, connections, and of course, the availability of devices.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Now,
До свидания. Спасибо вам большое.
До свидания. Спасибо. Now we move to the next presentation. This is abstract 149, innovative online induction preparation for open and distance education by Rajit Priyankara, Sisara Pereira, HUW Ratnayaka, and Rominda Vimalasiri. Over to you.
Hello everyone, I am Rajit Priyankar, a member of the Induction and Preparation Research Group of Create Learn Support Committee. This research is focused on finding the effectiveness of the current program and providing recommendation for an improved induction program for students in open and distance learning. First, let us start with the problems of common induction programs. Then I am explaining the purpose of the study along with the literature survey. Thereafter, I am going to explain the current EFIL program offered for the students registering in the Faculty of Engineering Technology and our main research questions. Next, I will show you the proposed methodology and data collection, and finally conclude with our recommendations. So these are the problems that we have addressed by our research, and we have encountered several aspects as shown in this slide, such as students dropout, student retention, and necessity to support students in proactive and personalized ways. The proposed research is focused on finding the effectiveness of the current program and providing recommendations for an improved version for the students in ODL. Moreover, this research examines students' engagement in higher education along with the distance education offered by the Faculty of Engineering Technology of OUSL during 2014 and 2020. It is evident that effective induction programs play a major role in student retention in distance education programs. Retention studies done at distance education programs reveal that it is highly based on effectiveness of the conducted induction programs, and the number of non-start or early dropouts decrease. Research on most frequently causes of student dropout and failure in ODL programs can be grouped into two main areas, like the institutional and the individual based factors. Also, it is proved in many cases that a proper design of an induction program for students in ODL plays a major role in an individual's learning process and at the same time increases the first year students' engagement. The Faculty of Engineering Technology of OUSL has designed, developed and been conducting an induction program for new entrants since 2009. Although it has been revised 3 times, but its impact has not been studied. On the other hand, OSL has felt the need for a new induction program incorporating ICT in order to make the program more attractive to students. to withstand disruptions to academic schedules due to pandemics, security issues or natural disasters that segregate communities of learners, and to increase students' engagement with studies, thus increasing student retention. This was a descriptive study of the effectiveness of the current induction program within a specific context, Faculty of Engineering Technology at OUSL. Here we have adopted case study method as our methodology. In this study, basically we are addressing the following research questions. Understanding current student clientele of the Faculty of Engineering Technology. What are the drawbacks of the current induction program according to student perception? And how can we improve the current induction program? Data collection was conducted throughout the e-field program using various strategies. 3 survey questionnaires were prepared to get the students' feedback for the current induction program and also to get an idea of the students' satisfactions and expectation about it. Also, few novel questions were added for the questionnaire for the total online batch. These 3 groups are categorized as A, B, and C. Next, I am going to present you the collected data of the Faculty of Engineering over the past years. Here we are presenting only the few of questions that to understand the students' clientele. This data highlighted that majority of students are young crowd, not employed, and most of the students have passed advanced level as entry qualification. The few summarized responses are tabulated here, and we have selected few highlighted responses from each groups. Here you can see some of the selected comments that we have obtained from the group discussions. Based on literature survey and students' feedback, we are proposing a new induction and preparation program which is best suited for an ODL institute like OUSL. That's why we are addressing these highlighted issues to the new system. So these are the selected responses and suggestions from the students to improve the quality and effectiveness of the program, such as to include more information on assessment types, submission types, and support services, to improve the session on learning styles, motives for learning, and peer group learning, to include topics related to self-confidence and include career guidance. And also we have considered students' recommendation as well. As you can see, almost 97% of students are recommended to continue awareness session for future batches of students. Further, most of them recommended to have a mix of online and face-to-face sessions. In this sense, the Open University of Sri Lanka should develop specific support strategies for their prospective and new students, organized around institutional induction programs. The advent of the internet and the growth of digital media have now transformed distance teaching from a broadcast mode to an interactive mode. Information and communication technologies transform all aspects of education and distance education, which is a rapidly growing segment. Therefore, the new induction program should be characterized by focusing on the development of online learning communities as well as with the constructive learning approach. There are many useful tools and apps that can be used to support ODL. One option being the Moodle mobile app, including a strong online component for students to engage in before coming to a regional center to do face-to-face group activities. Therefore, it recommended to include an interactive online component which can make a behavioral change in the learner towards persistence in learning activities. So we are highly expected student retention, decreased students dropout, and more engagement in higher education. Here are some references used for this research. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Now it's open you to ask questions if any. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. Very good presentation, very interesting. Now we move on to the question and answering session. And now the participants can ask questions from the presenters. I think just one clarification. I think this data was collected after the pandemic?
Yes, during the pandemic, that is,
Right.
two sets were done in 2020, just after the engineering faculty did the e-fill over Zoom. And one data set was actually collected in 2014. At that time, the students were physically present, and we have collected the feedback. So we analyzed the 2014 that where students engaged in physical mode, and what happened in 2020. In 2020 also, there is one batch, about 205 students who came just before the second wave of COVID starts. We had one session with about 200 students. That feedback is there, and the majority is from the set who had to participate over Zoom. So what we
recommend?
What we understood from the student feedback is that, and what we recommend, this is actually a smaller part of the bigger research project that we have undertaken to develop a flipboard kind of online e-fill, empowering for independent learning. In the physical mode over Zoom is not going to work. So we are developing a MOOC kind of program where most of the activities will be where students can engage in the most of the activities online, and there could be maybe 1 or 2 sessions that we can ask students to come to a center and do as a physical group activity.
Right. Do you see any impact of the ages in this work, or it's basically same? I mean, the school leavers response was different from the others working crowd. It's more or less same. More
or less same.
Right.
Why we really wanted to see what is the clientele is like, because we get we are always thinking that we have a mature crowd and a working crowd. So it is not so. So 70% of our clientele is very young and not working.
Right. Okay. Right. Did you get any feedback from the coordinators who conducted this work in 2014 and even now? Oh, it's just the student feedback based work?
Yes, only the student feedback.
Right.
Those who participated.
Right. But then the response from the students were very good, no? I mean, so many people have participated. Yes,
and we have selected few phrases, samples, but there were many things that they have written which we could use to develop the new program.
Right. I believe it's very good. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Udita. Now, a very good presentation, and then we wish the success in future work of this research. And now we move to the next presentation. That is abstract number 193. Evaluating learning outcomes through MCQ-based computerized adaptive testing and empirical study in Sri Lanka by Asaka Seneviratna, Randima Gunasekara, Waruni Nisansala, Waruni Nilbala, Binara Sachin, and Nuwan Lianarachi.
Welcome all of you. I am Asanka Seneviratna. My research team consists with Waruni Nilbala, Randima Gunasekara, Vardhani Sansala, Binara Sachin, and Nuan Dinarachi. We are from 3 universities. I'm from the Open University, and my system developers are from University of Moratuwa, and others came from the Horizon campus. So this is the outline of our research.
Yes.
Research purpose, research problem, objectives, methodology, mobile application development, data analysis, data presentation, findings, and discussion. The central purpose of this study is to improve the effectiveness of online learning by improving results representation methods of MCQ-based examination. As you all know, the research is based on a research problem.
Yeah, it's
Our
quite
research problem
interesting.
is
So what happened
student
was
assessment
at the RMIT, I was the coordinator of the Brunswick campus. So I was recruited to run the Bachelor of
student assessment
Primary
is the
program at
process of
Bandura,
evaluating
but
student
then
abilities
there was a
and
parallel
achievements.
offering at
However,
Brunswick.
assessment may have
The
negative
person who was
impact
the head
on.
there, he was an American.
Just 1 minute, Asaka. We will see. Can you participants? Can you please switch off your mics in order to present to carry out the presentation?
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Student assessment is the process of evaluating students' abilities and achievements. However, assessment may have negative impact on students' motivation, particularly when assessments are based simply on numerical value. Careless implementation of assessment may have negative consequences as numerical scores do not capture students' academic abilities on problem solving, decision making, social skills, or their ability to elaborate certain topics. Many examinations in Sri Lanka give numerical value as a pass mark. Assessments are not going beyond that and therefore unable to find out whether learning outcomes are achieved or not. Therefore, this study is to evaluate the learning outcomes of learners through a tailor-made mobile application. With that, following objectives are expected to be achieved. Number 1, obtaining graphical representation for assessments. Interpreting graphical representations, quick assessment of test used to MCQ-based examinations. Research objective basically create a computerized MCQ assessment platform to assist students to identify their own strength and weakness in a subject. Research methodology. A mobile application was designed to assess the learning outcomes. Students stated in the Bloom's taxonomy. Those are actually learning outcomes. Teachers and students can log in and access paper stored in an online database. In this study, researchers used a sample of 200 learners as a preliminary study of information and communication technology paper and evaluate their performances to the mobile application. Results were given as a graphical representation rather than numerical, contrast to numerical representation in traditional assessments. Mobile application development, there are 2 phases. Flutter mobile application development framework, under that native apps for both Apple and Android phones, single code base. Firebase backend, user authentication done through Firebase authentication and Firestore database. So this is the application flow. You can see there are 5 stages: login page, home page, paper details page, question page, and result page. Under each button, there are few other functions. So you can see initial interfaces. Basically, you can see sign in using email and password, register using email and password. Then list of available papers are downloaded from the database. Students select a paper. Paper is downloaded from the database. Questions are displayed one by one. Student can select one question for each question. One can select answer for each question. Students can go to next and previous questions. Recorded data, basically selected the answer for each question, time is spent on each questions. So this is the basically algorithm we use. From left-hand side, you can see the mobile application. We assess basically time taken for each questions, selected answer for each questions. So database for storing number of attempts, current average time for each questions, number of correct answer for each questions. In this study, so data representations are in 4 stages, 4 categories. So we just state result of the student is analyzed and presented under 4 categories. Default numerical analysis, analysis of time taken for each question, analysis of result categorized by lesson, analysis of result categorized by learning goals or learning outcomes. When it comes to the first one, default numerical representation, you could see total marks, marks for each question, selected correct answer for each question, percentage of students who answered correctly for this question. When it comes to the second one, analysis of time taken for each question, under that you can see time taken by student for each question, then average time taken by student for each question. Third, question, the students have taken significantly higher time than average time. The third one, analysis of result categorized by lesson. So under that, you have 3 options basically, from the student side as well as teacher side. Percentage of questions student has got correct categorized by lesson, average performance of students, percentage of wrong answers that belong to each lesson. Finally, analysis of results categorized by learning outcome, learning goals. Percentage of questions student has got correct categorized by expected learning goals and average performance of students. So when it comes to the finding and discussion, the finding of the research revealed that graphical representations are more useful in decision making than utilizing traditional pedagogical evaluation methods and tools simply on numerical analysis, right? Therefore, this is a synergy effect of assessment based on computerized adaptive testing. This mobile application support to systematically guide academics to get constructive views of learners. Thank you very much. Best wishes. That is the end of our presentation.
Thank you very much. Now we move to the question and answering session. And the participants can ask questions. Either they can type the question in the chat box or they can directly ask the questions. Now, in one question set, how many questions? I mean, for the students in one set.
Yes, it is optional. For this study, we use 25, but that you can what is called customize. You can adjust. Is it even for beyond 25, 30 or less than 25, 20 like that? It is basically for MCQ based question papers.
All right. Okay.
I would like to ask a question.
Yes, please.
How do you have any plans to make this tool available for us to use? Is the prototype being done?
Yes, Dr. Udita, it has been done. Basically, we can implement very soon for this particular conference. We did actually this one. Everything focused for the purpose of the conference presentation, and we found it is very fruitful, and we will be able to launch it. At the moment, we developed the software with the support of University of Moratuwa. And very soon we will be able to make it available. Actually, our central purpose was to introduce it for the teachers level at the school level who are in the rural places, because they are using mobile and smartphones, so they can assess students' performance in isolated times. For example, now we are maintaining the distance, social distancing. Therefore, once they cooperate with their students, they can use this on a convenience way.
Thank you. And it could be useful for us also in the university level. Now we are going for
Yes,
computer-based assessment. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any other questions, please? Azaka, from the technical side, is there any minimum requirement for this application, or it's just...
Yes, Doctor. Shall I ask my system developer to answer the question, Mr. Binara?
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes.
The mobile application was currently developed for Android mobile phone.
Android
Hello.
based. Yes, yes.
Hello. The mobile application was currently developed for Android mobiles only, but we can use the code base to develop for Apple phones also. So the application is focused for mobile, but that is the current requirement for using the application.
Right. No, it's fine, ma'am. But I mean that now the Asanka is telling now this is good for the rural area people. So we know the facilities that they have. I think that with the minimum requirement, the system requirement of smartphone, they can work with that. Am I right?
Yes, Doctor. Yes, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, that will be very useful. Anybody has used it or still at this stage, as Dr. Udita mentioned?
We tested actually, Doctor, that the interface results were presented in our slide, but only for the purpose of the conference presentation. But we are going to use it commercial or practical way very soon, Doctor.
Okay.
So the interface and the results were from our test. Basically, it's a pilot test, Doctor.
Okay.
We found that it is going to be working and will be very fruitful.
Yes,
rather than depending on the just numbers and we say pass or fail, or rather than we can go so many other assessments. Those are very convenient for the both parties, like learners as well as academics.
Sure. Yes. Okay, thank you very much, and wish you very success in future work of this research, and it will be very practical oriented one, I believe, for the users, both the teachers and the students, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Right. With that, we will move to the next presentation. Next presentation is on using electronic course material for learning, prescription for medical laboratory science undergraduates, by Diniti De Silva, Nirosha Jayaratna, Dulhari Vijayaratna, and BG Dayatilaka. Over to you, please.
Hi, I'm KKDS De Silva. I'm going to present the paper titled Using Electronic Course Material for Learning, Perception of Medical Laboratory Science Undergraduates. This study was conducted by the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences, Faculty of Health Sciences, the Open University of Sri Lanka. Through this presentation, I'm going to discuss a brief introduction about the background of this study and the objectives, material and methods, final results, and the conclusion. First, let's move to the introduction of this study. The Open University of Sri Lanka has been using printed course material from the start. Course materials are the main teaching component in a study program, and the course materials is comprised of session, which consists of session outline, introduction, content, activities, learning outcomes, and the reference. In the academic year 2018-19, the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences took the decision to replace printed course material with e-course material. The Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences offers Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences Honours Degree Program for registered medical laboratory technologists serving in the health sector. So it's very important to understand the perception of the student on e-course material who are in open distance learning mode. These are the objectives of this study. The main objective was to identify learner perception on learning through e-course material, and then we try to identify the areas to be developed in e-course material. Materials and methods. This is a mixed methods design. Demographic data and learner perception is identified using a self-administrated questionnaire, and the sampling method is convenience sampling. Data analysis was done using SPSS statistical software. Descriptive analysis was carried out under the demographic data, and the association between the variables was determined using chi-square test. Mann-Whitney U test was used to compare the learner's satisfaction on e-course material among two independent groups based on age, gender, and marital status. Now let's move to the results. You can see the table 1 summarized the demographic data. A total number of 70 undergraduates in the BMLS Honours Degree Program. Only 64 students had responded. Among the respondents, 44 females and 20 males were there. So around 69% of females and 31% of males in the sample. The majority were below the age of 40 years and only 10 students were above 40. And you can see in the table there were 43 married students and 21 single students. In this two-way table illustrates the device and the place that used to access the e-course materials. You can see the majority of individuals have used their mobile phones to access e-course material mainly from their home, while only a smaller proportion have used desktops. You can see the figure 1, the mode of reading. 52% of students have used printouts of the e-course material, while 48% of students have used e-course material. So it's approximately equal number of students have used both printed materials and the e-course material. These two pie charts in figure 2 show the student proportion of highlighting the text in printouts and the e-course material. Most of the students who used e-course material did not highlight the text, but the majority of the students who have used printouts of e-course material have highlighted the text. This pie chart illustrates the percentage of students who have made annotations in printed materials and the e-course material. Approximately 46% of students had used annotations in the printed materials, while only 11% of students did annotations with the e-course material. Using the chi-square test, check whether there is an association between the variables. The cluster bar chart on the gender and the mode of reading is shown in figure 4. You can see the majority of the female students prefer to read printout course material, while most of the male students prefer to read e-course material. However, there was no significant association identified between the gender and the mode of reading. The p-value is 0.074. And the figure 5 is the cluster bar chart on the marital status and the mode of reading. In here also, there was no significant association identified between the marital status of the learners and the mode of reading. p-value is 0.532. Statement evaluation. 16 statements regarding learner satisfaction on e-course material were evaluated on 4-point scale, where 1 indicates strongly disagreement and 4 indicates strongly agreement. Mann-Whitney U-test was used to compare these statements based on age, gender, and marital status, and significant outputs will be discussed here. First, compare the agreement on the EC accessibility on e-course material among two age groups, students less than 35 years and 35 or higher. You can see there is a common trend indicates the students over the age of 35 or higher agreeing to the statement on EC accessibility to e-course material. And Mann-Whitney test is also indicates that there is a significant difference between two age groups on agreeing upon the EC accessibility of electronic course material with the p-value 0.034. The following cluster bar chart shows that agreement on the statement EC readability of e-course material among two age groups. You can see a greater number of students less than 35 years of age do not agree on the EC readability of e-course material, while the majority of students who are 35 years or more have agreed on this. Similarly, the Mann-Whitney test has also proved that there is a significant difference between the two age groups on agreeing with the statement. The cluster bar chart on the marital status and the preference over the mode of reading is shown in figure 8. You can clearly see the most of the married students preferred to use e-course material, did not prefer to use e-course material. The difference also significant here with the p-value of 0.014. This is the conclusion of the study. The majority of students were females and were below age of 40 years. Most of the learners have used mobile phones over laptops, desktops, and the tablets and accessed from their homes. Approximately equal number of students have studied both the printouts of the material and the e-course material. Most of the students did not highlight the text in the e-course material, while 60% of students highlighted the text in the printouts taken from the e-course material. Approximately 46% of learners were making annotations in the printout materials, while only 11% of learners did so with the e-course material. Majority of the female learners prefer to read course materials through printouts, while male students prefer to read on the screen, but there was no significant association between reading method and the gender or the marital status. Student above the age of 35 years agreeing on the statement easy accessibility of the e-course material and easy to read on screen, with the significant difference between the two age groups on agreeing upon these statements. Marital status showed a significant association for learners with the preference for using electronic course material, where married learners prefer to use e-course material more than the single students. This is the end of this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we will move on to the question and answering session. Participants then now can ask the questions.
It's a very interesting study, but it is very difficult for us to decide whether to keep on using printed material or move to e-course material, isn't it? It's not exactly a question that is I'm thinking aloud. So now we have been asked to decide on, based on each course, whether we are moving to e-course material or whether we are going for printed material. But based on this research, it is very difficult to decide, isn't it?
Yeah, actually there are approximately same number of students voted that they prefer to use e-course material and as well as the printed material. So, and the OU has made the decision to reduce some considerable percentage of the student tuition fee for those courses providing e-course material. We are considering the finding of this project. In future, we thought to give a chance for students to choose either e-course material or printed course material, so they can choose either printed material, so e-course material on based on their preference. So finally, this is what we thought. And also we thought to keep few printed materials in the main library as well as the regional centers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just this e-material and the printed material are one-to-one, or are there any effect when you get this e-material? I mean, visualization or some other salient features in e-material when compare with this one? Oh, it's one-to-one,
Yeah.
just text.
Yeah. Yes, in the e-course material, we normally use colored images. As in the future also, we hope to develop e-course material more using, for example, hypertext interactive materials with multimedia elements and virtually laboratories and videos, online interactive test, video clips. Likewise, we hope to develop more in the future.
In your questionnaires, did you ask now what did the students like most in e-material or dislike in material when compare with the printed material? Such type of questions.
Yeah, we added some open-ended questions also. Some
Yes.
Students respond that it's difficult to read long time. It's hard to on the screen. So
Yeah.
there are few difficulties on this, on the perspective on the student side as well. So we have to think about also that area also.
Probably there are positive side as well, I believe. I mean, e-material, when you get the material.
Sorry.
I mean, the positive side of the material also have been indicated, I believe, by the students.
Yeah. Some most of the male students prefer to use C materials,
right.
rather than the females.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. I wish future success also in this work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, actually, we didn't receive a presentation for the next abstract, that is abstract 170, and therefore we will
Dr.
take
Udekumar, excuse me. One of the authors of this paper is present in the audience.
Okay.
Bachria Fatwa Dini.
Right. Okay, then I will.
Can we ask that person what whether they are presenting this or not? Bachria Fatwa Dini.
That 170
yeah, that person. That person was an author for the 176 paper as well.
Yeah.
But
is that presenter is here?
Yeah, that presenter is. I don't know whether it's the presenter or a co-author.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say?
No, I mean, if the presenter is there, so we will ask her to present. Am I right?
Yeah, that's why we want to know whether I don't know whether it's a presenter or a co-author.
Yeah.
But that person is the presenter for the 176. But in this one, I don't think that is not responding. No.
Yes.
So
Yes.
shall we move to the next paper?
Okay, without having a break.
Yeah, otherwise there are two more papers to go.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Then we will move to the next presentation. That is abstract number 165. The presentation on challenges and opportunities of e-learning via Zoom by GT Madhubashini. Over to you.
Title is Challenges and Opportunities of the E-Learning via Zoom. As we all know, COVID-19 has a negative impact on social, economic, cultural and education sector at local and international levels. Therefore, UNESCO has also suggested to have online teaching and learning. In this context, there are some challenges with the traditional mode of education. Therefore, a circular was issued by the Ministry of Education to facilitate the students, including university students. Learn Zoom was introduced to conduct the e-learning as an alternative solution in most of the state universities. In this context, Open University has also implemented the e-learning via Zoom. The main purpose of this study is what are the challenges and opportunities in e-learning via Zoom faced by both students and teachers. The main purpose of this study is to investigate the challenges and opportunities of the e-learning via Zoom faced by both students and teachers. The specific objectives are to identify the innovative teaching and learning practices in e-learning via Zoom and find out the alternative and optional online solutions for an effective e-learning and teaching. The main theoretical framework of this study is technological acceptance model. When we apply this thumb theory to this study, it is understood that e-learning was introduced to both teachers and students as an innovation. As explained in the thumb theory, both teachers and students had behavioral changes to use e-learning via Zoom by understanding the benefits and ease of use of this facility during this pandemic. After adopting to this innovation, it is found that there are some challenges and opportunities in e-learning via Zoom in the actual usage. Samples were selected from the BA degree in Social Sciences offered by the Department of Social Studies. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, SSD has also transferred the teaching and learning process to the online mode. The focus group discussions were conducted with 30 students covering all the streams and all 3 levels, from level 3 to level 5. That means 10 students from each stream. 2 students from each center were also randomly selected. The personal interviews were conducted with 5 teachers representing all the streams. These teachers were selected not only from Colombo but also from some other centers. The qualitative data were analyzed thematically. Results and discussion. The challenges and opportunities of e-learning were investigated. It was found that delivering lectures and other activities via Learn Zoom is time-saving, user-friendly and convenient during this pandemic. And also, There are some challenges for both students and teachers in e-learning via Zoom. These challenges are technical issues, ethical issues, unstable coverage, background noises, less face-to-face sessions and interactions, higher charges of internet connection, irrespective of the stream specialization of the students. Less IT knowledge, English language barrier, and unavailability of laptop or mobile phones are specific issues to the students in outside Colombo and adult students. As far as the level 3 students are concerned, they have lack of technical and IT knowledge compared to the students in level 4 and 5. Most of the regional centers, they arrange snack centers to facilitate students to participate in Zoom sessions. The results showed that the students who are having families and children are struggling to attend the Zoom sessions from their homes with the internal issues and disturbances. They also highlighted that domestic violence and harassments are quite high during this pandemic. Some innovative practices done by teachers in e-learning via Zoom were identified. Also, some alternative and optional online solutions were found out for an effective e-learning and teaching process. These innovative practices increase the interactivity and effectiveness of the Zoom sessions. It was reported that teachers use some specific features and facilities which are available on Zoom to maintain the interaction and effectiveness of e-learning. These strategies are allowing students to ask administrative or subject-specific questions on chat, sharing PPTs and lecture notes, categorizing students into different groups, classrooms on Zoom, and asking students to prepare for the group activities during the lecture, asking questions from the students during the lecture, and also asking students to read out the content of the PPT to maintain the interactivity with the students. The results showed that students are encouraged to be active in the classroom by doing group and individual activities, exercise on real-world issues, problem-based learning, Q&A sessions, etc. Students mentioned that they really like to participate in group activities because these activities help them to improve the communication skills, presentation skills, collaborative learning skills, etc. Mainly, they learn from each other. It was also found that the university teachers combine and use some other social media and advanced platforms like WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, emails, and e-learn platform to share the Zoom links and presentations, PowerPoint presentations, and conduct QA sessions, classroom discussions, and etc. It was also found that especially teachers from regional centers use and combine the social media platforms to interact with the students for these purposes due to less student number and less department representation at the regional centers. Especially, regional centers maintain separate Facebook pages to facilitate the students with more information about the courses and programs. Through the WhatsApp groups, the course leaders and program coordinators maintain the regular communication with the students. Some students and teachers highlighted that Learn Zoom is not that user-friendly and convenient compared to Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts. Especially Microsoft Teams provides unlimited participation and flexible whiteboard facility. Uploading recorded lectures to digital archive and opencast, benefits the students, those who missed these Zoom sessions. It was also reported that misbehavior of a few students in online lectures is also another issue. Sometimes system itself provides some day school reports with some technical errors that cause some problems for payments for the teachers. Recommendations. The responsible authorities should develop the social and IT infrastructure in rural areas to empower marginalized students with e-learning. The Social Studies Department has also recently suggested to establish a help desk with the support of voluntary student participation. The purpose of establishing this is to help students who are having lack of IT literacy and affordability issues. It is also important to introduce a common policy including the guidelines and instructions for conducting Zoom day schools by the university to avoid technical, ethical issues as well as the issues connected to the computer literacy and knowledge and payments of online day schools. Some workshops were recently conducted on Zoom online platform to train university staff. It is also important to conduct the training sessions or workshops to the students by the university to empower them with Zoom usage, technology benefits in order to create a better learning environment.
Okay, thank you very much. Then now we move to the question and answering session. Any question to the presenter? Just wondering whether you have looked at the psychological side of both teachers and learners when they are using the Zoom. I mean, so whether they are, I mean, shy to answer or they participate, based, or sometimes they use disadvantage.
Dr. Uday Kumar, I cannot do properly. Maybe my internet connection is very low, but you just asked about the psychological factors.
Yes.
Both students and teachers in e-learning. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The research showed that, of course, now due to the domestic violence and harassments in their homes, some students they are struggling to attend the day schools. That was reported, but I did not inquire about those things in details in my research. But it's a very good point to do a research in a future study.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Because even now we are teaching, we see that the students sometimes ask more questions during Zoom rather than the face-to-face. Am I right?
Yes, because actually we also found that the students who are participating in the Zoom day schools, they are quite active and they like to do some, the group activities, some collaborative learning practices, and they are asking, they are motivated and encouraged to day schools, Zoom day schools. The problem is this: now most of the students they are not able to attend the day schools due to some limitations as discussed in the presentation.
Yeah, it has been pointed out by many of these presentations today. One of the problem that we are facing in this new normal is the infrastructure facilities and the facilities that is available with our learners. So that of course has been pointed out. I think that has to be addressed by the authorities. Okay, any more questions, please?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dekumar. And I would
Yes.
like to ask
Yes, Rohan.
Madhubhashini a question
Yes.
regarding how you use Zoom. Because, see, the thing is, I'm from Australia. Okay, I'm joining from Canberra, and we use learning management systems which are dedicated for learning, not Zoom. Okay, so in that we have a policy in which the students have to switch on their cameras. So what I'm trying to ask is whether there is a requirement for your students to switch on the cameras when they're learning online, because it has a psychological impact when you see the students. And when you think of the teacher, it's also good to see the people on the screen, because sometimes you just speak to an empty screen. Now, for example, look at this conference. We've got 30 participants. We can see only a very few of them, right? So it's like talking to a screen, right? So there is a emotional drain from the educator also that impacts the students as well. So is there a requirement in Sri Lanka for students to switch on their cameras when they're participating on online learning?
Thank you very much, Doctor, asking this question, because we also can share our experience with the academics in at international universities. And in our case, of course, now when we conduct the lectures as teachers, of course, we switch on our camera because it's to maintain the interactivity with the students. But as far as our students are concerned, some students, of course, as I mentioned earlier, they have some signal issues, coverage issues. When they switch on the camera, actually quite difficult for them to, be in the Zoom day schools, because you need more data coverage. So when you switch on your camera, but it's not compulsory for our students to on the camera when they are in the Zoom day school.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Dr. Rohan.
Thank you, Dr. Rohan, for your question. Any other questions, please? Okay, thank you, Madhubhashini. It's very good presentation, and thank you. Now we move to the next presentation. This is actually abstract number 159, a study on the perceived effectiveness of WeChat platform on open education and online teaching at the Urban Radio and TV University. The organizers told me that the one of the participant, the presenters, is here. That is.
Actually, we have not received the presentation from them.
Yeah.
We wondered whether the presenter would like to play it from his end. Could you please talk, Mr. Shao Xinqian?
Zhao Xinxian, 159.
Yes. Your mic is muted. Please unmute your mic. Mr. Chao Xinqian. There's no response from that person.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh?
He's not going to unmute.
Mr. Shao Xinqian, could you please unmute your mic and please tell us whether you are ready to play the presentation from your side?
Or either you can put a chat message in the chat area.
Yeah, we have put a message, but we didn't receive a response from him. Yes.
Okay.
So then shall we move to the next presentation?
Yes, sure. Yes. Okay, right. Now we will move to the next presentation. That is abstract 135. Network-based remote laboratory in distance education, scanning electron microscopy experiment by Soichi Omari. Over to you.
I'm Soichi Omori from the Open University of Japan. The title of my presentation is Network-Based Remote Laboratory in Distance Education, Part 1, Scanning Electron Microscopy Experiment. In distance education, conducting scientific experiments is important for both science measures and non-science measures because it is a way to learning to develop a sequence of scientific thinking, including method, data acquisition, and analysis. In face-to-face university setting, laboratory classes are offered in relatively small classes. Instrumental analysis is often included in the experiment. On the other hand, distance education proposed method for a large number of students to experience the experiment. Recently, virtual lab, simulating lab experiments are proposed. Distance education also introduced small lab classes by remote laboratory, where students can perform experiments by remote control of real laboratory experiment. For example, in Open University UK, telescopes, radio telescope, and radiation dosimetry, etc. have been conducted. In this study, a scanning electron microscope, SEM, which is a device to observe the morphology of objects with electrons instead of light, was adopted as a remote experiment of this type. The aim of this study is introducing experimental experience using analytical instruments to the distance learning. Learning Earth and environment from microscale materials. And methods, computer-controlled scanning electron microscope, SEM. Remote control of the computer by a remote desktop software provided by Microsoft. This is a device, Hitachi TM3030 electron microscope. It has these features: a computer-controlled desktop size, easy operation, and relatively inexpensive price. The system of the remote lab is relatively simple. The user connects to the PC for operating the electron microscope from Windows, Mac, tablet, or smartphone using a remote desktop client provided by Microsoft. This software gives the user experience of operating the computer next to the SEM. The remote desktop function is like handing over your PC to the outside world, so you need to be very careful about security. In this study, we prepare a dedicated line for the internet connection separately from the Open University of Japan. Users are given a password that is valid only during the allotted time. In addition, Only the software for operating the SEM and the PDF viewer for viewing the data are allowed to run on the same PC. The experiments were conducted in the online course Exploring the Earth and the Environment and schooling lectures held at study centers in Japan. There are about 100 students per year, ranging in age from 20s to 80s. The object of observation include volcanic ash, crystal of hot spring sediment, microfossils and sediment, and more recently, I included the masks. So here is a demo. So this is a configuration file to the users can open to connection. First, check the speed of connection about 20 megabps. Then open the file. The connection started. The password asked. So this is a remote PC. And then open the controlling software for TM3030. Yeah, this is the controlling software for the SEM, and then the electron beam is now started. Yeah, here we got an image. This is a sedimentary particles, and now the changing magnification and choosing the object of interest. And changing magnification. And focus is adjusting. And this is the brightness control. It's a kind of microfossil in sediment. So we can move to the next sample by controlling the sample stages. Here, this is the volcanic ash. And then choosing some particle, and magnification becomes now the larger magnification. The ash is really like a glass fragment. Okay, I will show the slower internet speed. In the case of the slower internet speed, this is a slower line about 400 kbps. Okay, now the line is speed, connection speed is slow, so the operation becomes slower also. The reaction is slower when the line speed is slow. But I think still usable for operating these images. And now I will change the magnification. It works. So then now the stopping the electron beam and quitting the application. Then disconnecting from the remote PC and return to the local Macintosh. Okay, to summarize, here are some of the comments from the student. Unlike the virtual world, we can observe freely without restriction. The student feel happy for the free observation, and the video instruction was very effective for a beginner student. Many of the students enjoyed this operation so much that they wanted more time. The speed of the line is also important to the comfort of the experience. In some cases, there was not enough time for slow connection. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Now question and answering session. There is a question from Himali Pascal. How many students can access at a time?
Oh, only one student can access at one time. So the allotting time is very important to perform this experiment in this time.
Right. There is another question from Gayani Gamagli. That was very innovative, and thank you for sharing. Yes, it's very interesting.
Thank you too.
Yes, yes. Does that mean the students can book the practical and do it at any time? I mean, even night time. Likewise?
Yeah, actually, even midnight. But if they need support, it depends on the supporting person working
Right.
time. So, but I asked them that if you send the email, so I can read the email from my home, and of course I can support from my home using the remote desktop software also. So sometimes the student can get the support earlier in midnight, other than the noon time when I was working in other places.
Okay. Yes. What about the results? Now the results can be generated and sent to the students, but is there any way? It's just
excuse me?
The results of the experiment, how, I mean, in the real environment, we take the records and all, how it happens here.
You're asking the subject?
The results.
About the results.
Results.
So mainly I use this method and observation in the earth science and specifically in geology area. But of course, some students asked me that I'd like to see the biological materials or something, and of course, some students asked me to see the virus COVID-19, but sorry, it can not be not enough magnification for this device. But anyhow, it can apply any science field.
Okay.
I think.
Yes. Any other questions, please? Yes, it seems to be there are no questions. But thank you very much. It's very interesting. I think it's very important that we go to this direction with remote labs. Right. That's all in this session. So we had actually 7 presentations. All are very interesting, and we had a very good discussion. And while thanking all the presenters for their very good and very effective presentations, and also I wish all of them the future success in their respective research. And also I thank all the participants for this session, for the active participation and answering questions. And thank you very much. And with that, yes,
Dr. Uday Kumar,
yes,
now we are going to take a photograph. We want all the presenters to open their videos so that, including you, so that we can take a screenshot from from our computer. All the presenters, please switch on your videos. Open your videos. Yes, we have done that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Uday Kumar, for actively conducting the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Naina. Okay. Right. Thank you.